than a month ago, voters sent a loud and clear message to the Baltimore City State's Attorney. They weren't happy and they wanted change. Well, now with the primary behind us and the incumbent, Greg Bernstein, out of the race, voters are going to have to pick a newcomer in the general election to lead the way as the city's top prosecutor.
We didn't take you seriously, but you prevailed.
Yes,
congratulations.
We prevailed.
Marilyn Mosby's primary victory over Baltimore City State's Attorney Greg Bernstein was the upset you didn't see coming.
Community members want change.
And this 34-year-old attorney, mother of 2 young girls, wife of a city councilman, believes she's the one to bring it. Mosby's a former prosecutor, now practicing civil law with an insurance agency. She says she's got what it takes to be the city's top prosecutor.
I've prosecuted hundreds of the most heinous felons in the state of Maryland. I've prosecuted attempted murders. I've prosecuted robberies, carjackings.
The political newcomer's experience came under fire in the primary, and she's already armed herself to address it come November.
I have more experience than anyone else in this race as a prosecutor in Baltimore City, period.
I've been doing this for 15 years, being in the trenches. I see where the mistakes are from a constitutional standpoint, from a legal standpoint, and from a factual standpoint.
Defense attorney Russell Neverdon will face Mosby in the general election. He's running as an independent. The Baltimore native doesn't like what's happening in his hometown.
We've had the overly aggressive prosecution model. We've had the police state model. We waste tax dollars when we do sloppy investigations. We waste tax dollars when we have to impanel another jury.
Both see the problems.
I live in the heart of West Baltimore. I've said time and time again, I don't have to turn on the news and open up the newspaper to see the violence plaguing our communities. And our city is so much more than just the wire. And it's time to realize the potential of our city.
Getting to a solution, though, is where the two differ.
We have got to make sure that we are restoring public trust. And the way in which you do that is by community engagement, by being as transparent as possible in that office.
I don't like the term community engagement because as prior military, when I hear the term engagement, it means I'm prepared for a confrontation. And that's kind of what we're seeing between the citizens of Baltimore, the Baltimore City Police, and the state's attorney's office.
The first priority for that office should be these violent repeat offenders who keep getting off time and time again.
The majority of crime in Baltimore City is nonviolent. And so that's the core that we really have to begin to focus on just as equally as we do when it comes to the violent repeat offenders.
Mosby's passion is for the victims and their families. She's been there when her cousin was murdered years ago.
What we saw from these past couple of years is that there's been a lack of transparency, and a lot of victims and witnesses of crime have felt re-victimized because of that. We're going to end all of that.
Neverdon's passion is sending a message to criminals.
My love of Baltimore City has run through and through, and at 46 years of age, I'm not letting anybody run me from my home.
Now, Marilyn Mosby unseated Greg Bernstein after just 1 term in office. Prior to Bernstein, Pat Jessamy held the office of Baltimore City State's Attorney from 1995 to 2011. The general election is when Mosby and Russell Neverdon will square off November 4th.